Waiting on a tax return? Hopefully it ends up in your hands. Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Our U.S.-based restoration specialists are experts dedicated to helping solve your identity theft issues. And all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. So we'll reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Help protect your information this tax season with LifeLock. Save up to 25% your first year at LifeLock.com/aware.
Ever tried reading while jogging, cooking, or even juggling flaming torches? Yeah, it doesn't end well. But with audiobooks.com, you can conquer books without the circus act. Dive into over 450,000 titles, including more than 10,000 free ones. Get hooked on a bestseller, find your next obsession, or finally read that classic you've been avoiding since high school. And here's the inside scoop. Sign up today for a free 30-day trial and snag your first 3 audiobooks on the house. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.
You know, everybody's got a to-do list. Drop off the dry cleaning, pick up some milk. Here's an idea. Let's save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. And the good thing is you don't have to drop off or pick up anything. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance. Extra money in your pocket. It just may be the most rewarding to-do you do today.
Now Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio. A downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
Well, all right, welcome to Spike's Car Radio. I'm here with Zuckerman. Zuckerman's coming in hot. We've got a terrific show for you here. We left a chair open here at the Beverly Hills studio for you, the listener. Zuckerman, are you all right? Your eyes are wide. You're crazy. Are you crazed right now? Is it
okay.
Well, before we get into it, look, we got a very funny comedian with us today. Jim Florentine is here to talk about his new book. Everything is awful except you. Look at here it is, Zuckerman. See, you're already laughing. You
That's
like
how
that,
I
right?
feel. Yes.
You could have written this book.
Yes.
It's very funny. But before we bring Jim in, I wanted to follow up about the John Cena lawsuit last week. I've since learned some very interesting information. I would categorize this as rumor. And of course, I'm talking about Ford is suing John Cena because John Cena ordered a Ford GT and then quickly flipped it, right?
And as a lawyer, I would say, I must admonish you, Mr. Ferriston. We must use certain adjectives.
Yes.
Alleged.
Rumored. Rumored. Right.
Yes. Unsubstantiated.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for protecting me. Last week, and that's the Genevieve Morton episode of Spike's Car Radio, Zuckerman procured this lawsuit, and we went through it line by line.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful and fun and filled with all sorts of information about John Cena. So if you want to catch up on that, yeah, a little embarrassing. Safe to say John Cena. I think John should still come on the show. And discuss this with Can he talk about a lawsuit like that? Can he discuss those things?
Okay, if I was his lawyer, I would tell him no. But since I'm not, I want to hear about it.
Would you imagine he's kind of just laughing about this? I don't know. We went through it. It seemed pretty serious. All right, look. So Zuckerman, this is what's great about the Spike's Car Radio audience. There's an audience out there. And they listen, and they want to help. So people talk to me all the time on Instagram. They private message me. They let me know what they like about the show. They like to comment about your catchphrase, Damani. They want shirts and hats and the rest of that. We'll get to that. It's a little early for merchandise for Spike's Car Radio, but yes, we agree with you. There should be hats and coolers that say Damani and a money clip that says Damani.
Why don't we number them so people can say I was the number one merchandise buyer?
I don't know, but that's not the point. But somebody I don't know, or maybe I do know. Maybe I respond to everybody, but I kind of don't know who everybody is.
Do you know their tag names on Instagram?
But I like to respond to the fans. I like to write. They're generally really nice, and if I have a moment, I'll answer 10 questions or 10 people and go back and forth with them. But I kind of forget who I'm talking to, and it can be anyone. It can be some kid in Nigeria, or it could be a guy, a professional race car driver. Because everybody's handle, I don't bother to check to see what their Instagram name is and what their real name is. It's just, Porsche guy with a hat.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm just...
So it could be an authority. It could be a lunatic.
Right. So some guy said, just messages me. I think I'm in line at the post office or something. He goes, what if I told you I know who bought the John Cena car?
That would get your attention.
Yeah. I said, well, then I would ask you, who bought the car? And he said, and I said, well, first of all, how do you know? Before you tell me who it is, how do you know? And it's one of those friend of a friend stories, okay? But the friend of a friend happens to be a guy who owns a Ford dealership. And the friend of this guy is a guy who delivers parts to that dealership, I guess. This is what he's saying. So now I go to his profile and I look at his pictures, and they're all pretty legit. I'm like, all right, this is a legitimate car guy. This isn't some Yahoo, some nut. So what I'm about to tell you is clearly rumor, all right? It's a friend of a friend, but I believe it.
I
that?
choose to believe it, too, because it's so great.
I immediately told you.
We were so excited.
We
we
were
had
so
a great
excited.
conversation. We
All
could
right.
reenact that conversation.
Are you ready, Will? We don't have the ability right now, but I know in post you can put a drum roll in. Go ahead. Put in the drum roll right here. There you go. The person rumored to have purchased John Cena's Ford GT is Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, ladies and gentlemen. No joke. This is what this fella told to me. That he said that this Ford dealer, everybody knows, but it's a well-kept secret that Tom Cruise bought this car from John Cena.
So here's my question to you. And I said, well, clearly he's a good candidate because he has the money.
Right.
But why wouldn't he just go and sign up for his own Ford GT in the first place and get his own? Why does he have to pay an extra $1 million?
That's a good question.
Why would he have to pay an extra? Doesn't Ford want to give Tom Cruise a Ford GT?
All right. I don't imagine Tom Cruise is a guy who's sitting around reading car magazines, that he even knew this car
Really?
came out. He saw it somewhere, and then he wanted it. Secondly, I don't think Tom Cruise is the guy who's going to fill out an application and write an essay for this car.
Okay. I'm going
I think Tom Cruise is the type of guy that goes, look, Centron or whoever's running Scientology, get me a Ford GT at any cost. And you pay for it. You people pay for it. With the scrapings from the credit cards from the other Scientology members that you get.
The tithing from the poor drones. It's like
No, but you know what I mean? Forget about that. I'm joking about that. But honestly, he's one of those guys. You and I know guys like that. Seinfeld is kind of a guy like that. I guess Jerry's closer. He's more connected to the car thing. But there are plenty of movie stars and celebrities who are just like, just get me one.
Well, let me ask you a question. First of all, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to think he reads car magazines.
Right.
He's got nothing else to do. He's reading car magazines, and he's
Nothing else to do.
What is he doing?
He makes movies.
Okay,
He manages
so
a dozen families and new girlfriends.
My conceit is that nobody works as hard as me, and he's basically doing nothing. That's how I view the world. I have a binary view. I do all the work. Nobody else does anything. So I don't imagine he's doing anything.
So you don't believe this rumor? You just said you believed it, but now you're saying you don't believe it.
Well,
Which is it?
I don't believe your theories. I'm going to tell you about why I think that he had to get how to do this.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why I think if this rumor has any validity, I'm going to say he knows about the car. He could have one of his minions, of course. One of the people, members of the Sea Org, I think it's called, in Scientology, fill out the application for him. I don't think that Ford wants him to be the guy.
Right.
I don't think that if he filled out the application, I think they'd look at it and say,
Why wouldn't you want Tom Cruise? He's a major movie star, worldwide fame.
Is
Is he a Ford guy, though, is the question. Because that was part of what Ford wanted. They wanted ambassadors of the brand and collectors. When I think of Tom Cruise, I think of planes. He collects planes. I'm not sure he's a car guy. Occasionally I see him on Ducatis, on motorcycles, but that's it, right?
You're taking a very politically correct view and just viewing him as Tom Cruise, the guy.
Right.
There's some baggage. He has some baggage.
Do you think he'd get a billion-year lease?
Well, he signed a billion-year deal.
You think so? For that car?
When you go in, Spike, you sign a billion-year deal. I hope you're ready for that. That's a hell of a mortgage.
Now, see, look at that. Now, look.
Have you figured out, by the way?
If you're a Scientologist and you're listening, right, if you're in a power position, you should start leasing cars. We could make them a lot of money. That
But it
billion-year
would be-
lease, that would make them rich.
Well, or they could, or your lease payment, because if it's 12 monthly payments a year times $1 billion, that's 12
Think
billion.
of the money.
No, because it would be a nickel a payment.
Yeah. Well, like the long and the short is, I believe this rumor. This does sound like something that happened. I think now it's incumbent upon me to chase this Instagram person down and verify this in some way.
Well, you're well known in Hollywood. Can't you get to Tom Cruise?
I can. Yeah.
You could.
I know a guy. I
Yeah.
believe we're represented at the same company. We have the same representation. I believe, I could find this
Okay,
out.
so
I
maybe-
feel like I could chase this down.
Maybe but you might want to cut out the slightly humorous references that I've made. But then again, I'm an equal opportunity. When I read my religion, my birth religion's Bible, I poke holes at that too. At some of the ghost stories I read.
Well, go ahead.
Anyway, having said all of that, I'm going to tell you something legally. It's his car. He doesn't have to give it fucking back. It's his.
So Tom Cruise or anybody else, he can just keep it.
He didn't have to deal with Ford. He didn't sign the application. It's Cena who's got the problem. Tom has the car. He can thumb his nose. When Cena said, "Oh, I'm going to take care of it," he called up Tom Cruise and said, "Hey man, I need my car back." And Tom Cruise said, "Yeah, let me think about that for a half a second. No, fuck you."
Would you ever have guessed John Cena and Tom Cruise hang out together? Do you think they're buddies? Is Cena a Scientologist? What's happening?
Maybe they share face cream. I don't know.
Let's bring Jim Florentine in. Is Jim out there? There he is. Hey, come on in, Jim. Do you know this guy, Zuckerman?
No, never heard of him.
He's a very famous comedian.
How are you?
He's an actor. He's a prankster.
Oh.
You probably have heard him on Prank Yankers.
Yes,
Do you
of
remember
course.
Prank Yankers?
Yes.
And he has a new book, which you've already laughed at here. The book is called Everybody is Awful Except You. His name is Jim Florentine. Jim, you don't even have to wear your headphones if you don't like. I don't know if you like them.
He can be odd man.
You're a
out.
radio guy.
Yeah, I'll go with them on.
You go with them on? All right.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
I was going through the book last night. It's really funny. And I wanted to ask you about how you went about doing it, because what I thought that you did was really smart was this. You have a little bit of memoir in there, but then you have a lot of comedy attached to that around it. Am I right in that being the structure of the book?
Yeah, basically just little stories of growing up in New Jersey and just being, a dirtbag.
Yeah.
And just disgusting behavior. So I set usually the chapters up with that, and then I go into more comedy stuff. Yeah, just a little bit of both.
Because I've thought about it a couple times. It's been suggested to me that I do that, and I think, why is my life so interesting that anyone would want to read anything about it? I don't even want to read about it. I certainly don't want to write it down. And when I looked at this, I thought this is a really kind of brilliant little solution to it, which is I'm going to give you a little bit of who I am, but then at the same time, I'm going to give you a lot of stuff to read and to laugh at. Right?
Yeah, I just because I wasn't ready. I tried to do an autobiography, but no one's interested. So they're like, no, it's like just like you said. So they said, all right, we'll just do some of your comedy,
Right.
and then we'll do a little some funny stories before. In the beginning of the chapter.
And tell us what the premise of the book is. What inspired you to write it?
It's based on my podcast. I have a podcast that I just go on rants about. People send in. I have an email address, and people that listen to podcasts will send in bad Facebook posts, like people bragging. People in Ohio in January bitching about the weather. It's like, yeah, you live in Ohio. That's probably gonna. There might be a little ice. Yeah. When those posts like Mother Nature, go home. One of those. Right. It's like, I don't think Mother Nature is going to see this post, because I looked at all your friends. And
right, but move to California, dumbbell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then there was. So people send in bad Facebook posts, and then I comment on them. So that was basically what the book is about. Just like awful social media posts, basically. Vanity license plates, people bragging on their license plates, trying to be funny. We pick apart those, and bad music at weddings. We go through all of it. And New Year's resolutions that nobody ever sticks to.
There was one that you wrote that was a Facebook post, a mom kind of humble bragging about her son's homework. saying he went into he did extra homework where he didn't have to do extra homework, and I guess that means I'm a good parent.
Yeah, he did his homework like a week before it was due. Like she thought he was messing around, and she started yelling. He goes, "Mom, I'm doing a homework that's not due to the following week till after Christmas." And she goes, "I guess I'm an amazing parent then. That my kid did that." I go, "No, he just wanted to get it out of the way. He wanted to go play with his friends. He's like, let me just get this out of the way so I don't have to worry about it the rest of the week." But of course, it's all about her. I'm an amazing parent, and until next time, wait till I tell you how amazing I am.
Yeah, and all the platitudes that people put out there, all these motivational things as if they thought about them. It really made me think about everything that I post. Like, no one's out there trying at all.
I always say with the inspirational quotes, like, how come everyone's not doing better?
Right.
You know what I mean? Everyone's posted them. You're reading them. How come everyone's not in an amazing place in life?
Right.
It should be if they're all out there. Before, you just had to have it in your head. You know what I mean? Or maybe you had a little card in your wallet. Now it's it's on your phone. You read them every day. So how come you're not getting your life together? How come you're not living, laughing, and loving?
Don't you? Do you? Are you on social media at all?
Yeah, I mean, as a comic, you have to because you promote yourself.
Right.
See, it's
what do you do? Don't you feel a lot of pressure now? That
No.
No,
because I'm like, I'm a comic. I'm not going to sell 5 more seats, in a comedy club because I posted a picture of my ravioli that I ate last night at the restaurant. I don't think that's going to get more asses in the seat. I was just hungry at that time, So you got to look at it like that, you know what I mean? It's like whatever. And I do a podcast a week. It's an hour material. I do my stand up. It's like that's enough. I'm not going to be trying to make jokes on Twitter. So maybe I could put them in my act. That's what original comics were doing in the beginning.
Right.
But then everyone's so sensitive, and then you're fighting with people. I'm like, I got no time for that.
Yeah, no, there's so much of that right now. And once you hook into it, it doesn't seem like you can get off it. I mean, there are a lot of comedians right now going after the administration right now. And it's fun to read on your Twitter feed for a little while. But what you realize is they kind of get trapped in it a little bit. And the fight, like the administration doesn't seem to be going away right now. So you're just every day now. Your job is, writing something about what they're doing instead of going on with your life. Right? Am I wrong about that?
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, any like Trump material about him like being crazy is like an old Polish joke.
Right.
Like the Polish joke.
They
the
still
guy,
make those.
Yeah, but and the old Polish joke, you always knew that he was going to do something stupid at the end.
Right.
Whatever it was he was going to be dumb. So it's like at this point with the Trump stuff, it's like, okay, enough. All right, what did he do crazy now? Okay, so and as comics do, I just mute everybody. I'm like, I'm not reading that stuff. I don't want to read that nonsense. The world's not ending tomorrow. You know what I mean?
But I get the sense. And I'm just thinking about myself on there. It's like there are some comedians out there, especially who think, they're sitting there, they're watching this stuff happen, and they think if I finally weigh in, that's going to end it all. I'll finally say my piece about this, and they write this eloquent little thing, and they put it out there, and nothing happens.
You're basically, and especially when you put like at Donald Trump or at whoever, you're trolling that person.
Right.
Like you're a bully.
Right.
You're going, hey, I don't like you, and blah, blah, blah. That's basically bullying, is what you're doing. Like you're a grown man and you're trolling somebody.
But that's not what I mean. I mean, I think there's some egos out there that think they can stop all of it.
Oh, absolutely.
By just saying this stuff. And I'm kind of caught in between, like, I'm kind of old school where I think the comedian is about the laugh, right? You're out there to make people laugh. That's kind of your job. So if I, I'm not a stand-up like yourself, but I would be thinking, like, my job really is to entertain people around this insanity because they need a break.
You could turn on every channel on TV except for Fox News and get the same stuff. So it's like, why is a comic putting it on Twitter? Yeah, people like, come on, man, just be funny.
Right.
If you can bring that a unique perspective on stage about the whole situation, that's good. That's a funny thing. That's a because now people always like, you're going to talk about the administration on stage. I go, no, because I go on 7th on the show, and the 6 guys before me just did it. So I'm going to go, all right, so what those 6 guys said, here's my take.
Right.
I go, no, because as a comic, you don't want anyone touching on any of your topics before you go on.
Right.
It makes it tougher for you. So, I just always stay away from it. And like, people just want to laugh when they come to the comedy clubs.
Right.
They don't want to hear, they're like, you walk by every TV, there's all like, all this white noise about everything.
Right.
So when they get in the club, they just want to laugh. And I think on Twitter, too. I don't know. Is anyone really following a comic to, learn their political views and learn more about, politics?
No, I don't mind someone rebutting what's happening in the world with something really funny. I just when suddenly it's just a comedian screaming like "fuck you, you fucking asshole, fuck you, you gotta resign." You're just like, well, what are you doing? Now you're kind of on the same level as these people. I don't know. Were you a writer? Did you write for Conan?
No.
No. Did you work on Conan?
No, I never did.
When I was writing monologue jokes for Letterman, I did it for like 5 years. I wrote for David Letterman, and you kind of had a sense of the yearly news cycle. And there'd be a little bit of politics, and then there'd be a scandal, and then there'd be the Oscars, and you'd kind of be writing about different things every 3 weeks. I've never seen a cycle like this since I started writing, where politics dominates the news cycle every day, every single day, and there's been nothing else. There's no room for any other types of stories. And I think that's why we're kind of in this kind of Trump joke fatigue right now. Am I wrong about
absolutely.
that? Right? Because they're legitimate for a little while, but then it starts, like you say, it starts to get really old. And I don't, I think everybody's kind of lost in trying to figure out where does this go, where, comedy-wise.
Yeah, I mean, look, what more can Alec Baldwin do on SNL about Trump? Like, he's already nailed it. He nailed it early, and it was funny. But now it's just like, okay, what did he do this week? Okay, he was with a porn star. Okay, you're going to do a sketch where, hey, Donald Trump, what's like? Yeah, I don't know. At that point, I'm always curious. Like, if Jay Leno was still on the air, what would he be doing? I guarantee you he wouldn't be doing his whole monologue of just Trump jokes. And bashing him, like screaming at him.
Yeah, he seems to be very vocal about how late night is all about that. But yeah, in some ways, it feels like now it's counterproductive, that it's promoting this administration and helping them in some way. It's weird.
The word is hackneyed. It's been overdone. It's forking through the leftovers 100 times.
Do you remember the old days of the KKK when they were such a big deal, and then someone had the bright idea of like, hey, why don't we just ignore these guys? Let's not put cameras on them. Let's not put them on the news. They could just go away. And they kind of disappeared. You stopped giving them press.
I'm numb. I told you I'm numb to it. It reminds me of living in my household where my father was a lunatic, and every day I woke up to wonder what new crazy thing he was going to do. It just becomes stressful and old. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, maybe so. I wanted to talk about Prank Yankers. It says when I was reading your bio, which really made me laugh, it's like it said you rose to fame making prank calls. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I bought a house by making prank phone calls.
And this was in the old days of like Jerky Boys kind of thing?
Yeah, and it's like, I say, like, how do I tell my son that he has to go to college and get a good education? You know what I mean? He's like, Dad, you bought this house, prank calling people. I don't need to go to college.
When did you start doing that?
Well, I put a CD out messing with telemarketers back in like 2001. I was a comic just working at night. I had nothing going on during the day. I just had shows at night, so I was bored. So when a telemarketer would call, I would just try to keep him on the phone as long as possible. I'm like, I got nothing else to do. So I tried to keep, and I started recording the calls, and I made a CD up of the calls. I just figured I'd sell them at my shows. There was no record label. I just went to a local place, got impressed. And I mailed it in the Howard Stern show, and he started playing it right off the bat. He's like, oh, my God, this stuff's amazing. And then, like, 3 months later, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the prank phone call show, a TV show, Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel were big fans of Howard Stern. They heard my calls. They go, who is this guy? They tracked me down. Like, we want him on this new prank phone call show called Prank Yankers. We want to be one of the characters on there. So it's just, like, perfect timing.
Did you inspire that show, or did they already?
No, they already had the idea. They would just look for guys that knew how to do prank calls, and I did a couple characters, and they liked it. They liked the stuff that I did.
So you send in this. What were you editing them on? Like the calls. What you sent to Howard Stern? Like, what did that look like? Was that a CD?
Yeah, it was a regular CD. I got it. Yeah, it looked like a real CD.
Right.
Yeah, I got it up at local CD. I got like 100 of them pressed. I figured I'd sell them after my comedy shows, get my name out there, $10, whatever. And I knew the producer at the Stern Show, and so did my buddy. So we went up there.
Is this Gary?
Gary Del Batti. So we dropped it off, and he goes, "Okay." He goes, "If it's funny, we'll play it." And meanwhile, he had a stack of CDs on his desk. I go, "There's no way he is playing it." It's the same thing with me. Someone hands me a CD. I go, "Yeah, I'll listen to it." I'm never listening to it. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, he's not going to play.
Right.
He's just being nice. And then next thing I know, like I wake up at like 11 in the morning because I'm working late doing comedy. I got like 15 voicemails. Turn on Howard Stern. He's talking about you. He's playing your calls. It was the next day. He's like, who is this guy? This guy's amazing. We got to get him in our studio. And then next thing I know, I became a regular on the show, and I got the Prank Yankers gig.
Wow.
And it was all because of that. It was all because I just dropped that CD off.
And where were you when you heard the first one on Howard?
I was home, like, because they never replayed the show afterwards. They played it from 6 to 10, and that was it. Like, the next day, he started playing them again. I'm, like, listening, because I grew up listening to the guy.
Right.
Like, it was a big influence. I'm like, man, he's playing my stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, Gary, we got to get this guy in here. Track him down. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going in now? I'm going to the studio? This is awesome.
And they brought you in.
They brought me in. I sat in for one day, a full day.
Wow, you sat in.
Yeah, the whole show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with Howard now?
Yeah, we email. I see him here and there. I see him at events. I'm hopefully going to go on a show next month when my book comes out, so we'll see. But we've been friendly, for a long time.
Right.
I've known it, since 2001 was the first time I went on the show.
What is it like to have Howard Stern as a friend? Because I listen to Howard all the time, too, and it sounds like he likes to work and then go up to his apartment. And like you said, he might email you. Maybe there's drinks in Long Island if you have a house.
No,
that's
not. I'm not that close to him. No, I mean, he'll just.
But like, you know what I mean? Is it just like an email friendship? What does that look like?
Yeah, I went on the show. I've probably been on the show like 40 times over the course of the years, and I run into him at events and stuff like that, and. He'll email me out of the blue because I do like a radio show on Sirius, like on a hard rock channel. I interviewed David Lee Roth on there. And he emails, I'm going to be listening. You better not. I hope you don't fuck it up, like shit like that. I'm like, oh man. He's like, I love Dave. How come he's doing your show and not mine? Like stuff like that. So
that's great.
No, he was a huge influence on my career, and just basically I was like playing sports bars in like Philadelphia, where they wouldn't turn the TVs off, and I had to go on stage, and the Flyers were in the playoffs, and they start the comedy show, and people screaming, "Shut up! Turn the volume back on!" And then next thing I know, I'm sitting on Howard Stern, and I start selling out like clubs everywhere, just from being on that show.
Yeah,
Jed Clampett of prank phone calls,
Yeah.
right here. This is
all
terrific.
of us. So many of us have done it,
Right.
but no one has bought a house with it
Yes,
before.
this is terrific.
Because when I grew up, I say in the book, I was always in trouble. I went to Catholic school, so I was always rebelling, so I was always grounded. And I would just stay in my room, and there was a phone, and I would just go in the kitchen, or my mom would be out working or whatever, and I'd make prank phone calls because I had nothing else to do. So I was honing my craft at like 12 years old.
Unintentional consequences.
I had no idea I was going to make a living at it later on in life.
How old are your kids?
I just have one at 7.
He's 7.
Yeah.
So do you make prank? He must love prank phone calls.
He's on my last CD, my last prank phone call CD. Yeah, he's
So
all
you're
set.
still doing this?
Yeah, I took a while off because you really have to have no life because you have to wait for a telemarketer to call your house. So you have to sit there all day. And sometimes you only get one call. You're like, this is ridiculous. You can't leave the house. You have to order in any kind of food. You don't want to miss a call. So
Dedication to the craft.
Yeah.
So when he heard my stuff, he's like, I want to be on one of your CDs. And me and my buddy that I partnered do it with, we were like, you know what, let's do another. We didn't do one for like 7 years. So we put one out about 1.5 years ago. And he's on a call with this guy calls me up trying to sell me a car warranty. And I'm like, yeah, I go, it sounds good. I go, hold on, let me put the other owner of the car on the phone. And my son is like 5 at the time. He's like, hi. He's like, that's the other owner of the car. I go, yeah. He goes, that's a toddler. I go, no, he's not. He's just got a high voice. He's 23 years old. He's like, this is a joke. I go, this isn't a joke, sir. I want to get the car warranty. He's like, well, how many miles are on that Honda Accord? I use Honda Accord. He goes, 48. And the guy goes, 48 what? He goes, 48 miles? He goes, on a 2002 Honda Accord. He goes, yes. Click. And he just hangs up. Perfect.
Can you get us some of those? Will, can we cut one of those in as we go to break? Do you want to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be right back with more Jim Florentine, but right now, enjoy one of Jim's calls.
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
Who's this?
Ed, I have a joke for you. Knock, knock.
Well, who's Ed now? Don't want to know.
No, you're supposed to say who's there. Knock, knock.
Well, who is over there?
I got you, lady. That's a good one, isn't it? Okay, let's do another one. Knock, knock.
Lady? What are you talking about, a lady?
Yeah.
What kind of a lady's voice you think you're hearing?
Yeah, you sound like my mommy. Knock, knock. Knock, knock.
Come on, boy. Let's get busy here.
Knock, knock.
Who's there, then?
That's good. Yeah, I got you. Knock, knock.
Goofball.
Stop being a goofball.
I don't like knock-knock jokes.
No? All right, then I'll tell you another one then. Lady.
Quit calling me a lady.
You sound pretty, lady. Are you pretty?
If I knew who was calling here, I'd sure...
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I got you. Yay! I got you. That's a good one, isn't it?
Say, who's laughing? Not me.
Knock, knock.
Man, you're getting on my nerves, I'll tell you for sure.
Lady, you don't sound like you're in a good mood. Do you have a baby coming or something?
Who are you trying to embarrass anyway? Talking about a baby coming and talking to a man.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you, goofball?
You're a knucklehead.
Well, you're a goofball.
You're a knucklehead.
No, I'm not. I'm not a knucklehead.
Are you lonely, like me?
No, I'm not lonely. I'm a married man.
Okay. Do you ever play with your vagina?
Hey,
What?
where you coming from here?
I come from my house.
Sound to me like you're low bred.
Bread makes me poop. I gotta go poop, lady.
Let's talk about your bucket list for a minute. That's right, your bucket list. Guess what? No big news. We're all going to die. So before you die, there are some things you should do. And how about a trip to one of the greatest spectacles in all of motorsports, the Indy 500? I'd like to see that. And I'm not talking about any trip to the Indy 500. I'm talking about the ultimate Indy 500 fan experience. That's exactly what AMSOIL, maker of the best synthetic motor oils on the planet, is giving away this spring. One grand prize winner will win the trip of a lifetime to the Indy 500 to watch some of the fastest cars and best drivers battle to have their names etched alongside the greats like Foyt, Andretti, Unser, and Castroneves. But that's not all. Listen to what else awaits the grand prize winner. Pit access, dinner with an Indy 500 legend, VIP track access, suite access to watch the race, $1,000 for incidental and travel-related expenses, beer, round-trip airfare for two to and from Indianapolis, hotel accommodations for two for 5 nights at a hotel near the Speedway, ground transportation to and from the airport, hotel, and Speedway, chances to meet the drivers. You will do it all. You will be taken care of, just like they do when making high-performance synthetic motor oils. AMSOIL went the extra mile with this sweepstakes. If that's not enough, 10 first-place winners will receive 1 free digital download code for Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game. To enter the AMSOIL Ultimate Indy 500 fan experience, text INDY to 41487. That's INDY to 41487, or visit amsoil.com/Indy.
Hey, it's Rob Riggle.
And Sarah Tiana.
And you are listening to Wriggle's Pit.
Yeah, and a ham horn, and we have a new podcast. You can find our show exclusively on the Podcast One app, on podcastonesports.com, and don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
Every Thursday, we're going to sit around and we're going to talk about the things that really excite us, like life, comedy, sports, a lot of sports.
Ourselves.
A lot of Sarah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you join us.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
All right, we're back with Jim Florentine. His new book is Everybody is Awful Except You. Zuckerman, I swear, you could have written this book.
I always say everything in life is shit except for piss. So it's kind
That's
of
the title of your life, Zuckerman.
Yes.
This is it. When is the book out?
February 20th.
February 20th.
But they can pre-order it. It's all up on Amazon and all that stuff.
Fantastic. What haven't we covered here? You're also an actor, huh?
Well,
how seriously?
I don't know.
I'm going by your paper, your bio. It says you are a comedian and an actor, and you've got some pretty good credits. You were in the Amy Schumer movie. You were in Trainwreck.
Yeah, I was in Trainwreck. Yeah.
You worked on Girls too.
Yeah,
it's some pretty hip little rooms here.
Yeah, I was in an episode of Girls.
Do you audition?
I auditioned.
How do people hear about you like that? I mean,
I'm friends with Amy Schumer.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So Amy had her show on Comedy Central, a sketch show. So she put a lot of comics in her comic friends for different sketches. You'd be right for this. So I did about 7 or 8 sketches on her show. And then when her movie came around, Judd Apatow knew me because Judd was the one who actually got me to roll on Girls because he was the executive producer on there. I just had a little part in one of the seasons. And then, he directed train wreck. And he's like, oh, it'd be perfect. They were looking for like a scumbag guy to have like a one-night stand with Amy and just like treat her like shit, and then she throws him out of the apartment. He's like, look, you don't have to audition for it. So
You can play that.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, I've been in that. No problem. I've been asked to leave afterwards. So no problem. So I was in that, and then did an episode of Louis C.K. show,
Right,
his TV
right.
show. So
No, I've known Louis for a long time. How's Louis doing? Have you heard from him? Have you
no,
talking to him?
No, I think he's just laying low, letting everything die down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing for him.
I think he should come out and do some stand-up about it eventually.
Oh, he will. You know, right now the guy's probably turned over 3 scripts. He's got a whole new hour of stand-up. He's sitting home creating all this
Comic
stuff.
gold out of it. Richard Pryor did it. He
Right.
set himself on fire. He got an hour's worth of material
Absolutely.
out of that.
I went my last special that's getting sold now. I talked about my divorce, like all the shit that went down. That was my whole special. I'm like, God, it's going to take a little while to write about it, but once I get that one joke down, it just the floodgates open.
Right.
You know what I mean? So as a comic, to go through some stuff, is perfect. It's great.
It's the gold mine.
Everyone's going to be looking for Louis' next special when he does it.
Yeah, when I was doing stand-up early on, I called him and I was just like, what's the shortcut here? Because I'm kind of late to this. Like, what do you do? And he goes, look, you're really going to want to protect yourself up on stage. And if you can throw that away right away and just be brutally honest about everything that's happened and everything that you're feeling, that's where your act lies. For him, that's where your act lies, and it explained so much of what I had seen from Louis back back when I first met him on Letterman and saw him do stand up for the first time and was shocked by what he was saying to where that went, how successful he became.
Yeah, it's
Is there stuff in your act that you shield from us?
No, I'm honest about everything.
Yeah.
And I just like, look, and if people get it sensitive or or offended, I'm like, look, this is my life story. This isn't about you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So don't get offended. This is just about me.
Yeah. You don't seem like a really angry guy or a really upset guy. Your comedy seems to be born of anger and frustration, but you seem pretty well adjusted.
Oh yeah, I know.
Happy.
I don't walk around that, but like when people send me like an awful Facebook post and I could just read, I'm like, oh, this is, and I make fun of it and then I move on. It doesn't ruin my day.
Right.
I don't carry it around. You know what I mean?
But people relate to misery, right? And failures, all the hard stuff in life.
Would you agree that a lot of comedy is born out of anger?
Yeah.
Like the things that are on your mind all day long that are really bugging you?
Absolutely. I remember this comic friend's like, dude, you got to go to therapy, man. Just get your shit together. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to go to therapy because I don't want to lose my anger because then I feel like I'm not going to be a good comic. And then when I get in there, the therapist's like, you're not going to lose your anger. It's still going to be there. You're just going to know how to channel it. He goes, no, that's the dumbest thing ever. He goes, you need to get your life's a wreck. You need to get it straightened out, and you'll still have your anger. And
You're
he was
afraid
right.
of losing your mojo.
Yeah, I go, I don't want to. That was the whole thing, like with Sam Kinison back in the day. His brother Bill tells the story that him and all of his buddies would do coke all night, and Bill was like, "Dude, you guys can't be doing it." He goes, "If we watch CNN, if we could just get one good line from my stand-up act, it's worth it." So that was their excuse to do coke all night. We put on CNN and then we write material, and then I got it in my act, so it's worth it. Yeah,
I'd like to see those pages.
I know.
Do this coke,
and it worked out well.
Yeah, you're like, I better cut this down. On coke, he's probably like a 9-minute bit with one punchline.
Did you ever get caught up in that stuff? You said you started stand-up in 91, right?
Yeah,
that's a little
91.
late, right?
Yeah, I was about 24, 25 at the time, yeah. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. No, I never got caught up.
And did you grow up in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no drugs, no. Just drinking here and there, but nothing, no pills, none of that stuff.
Right. Well, look at you.
No, you got to be in it for the long haul. You know what I mean? Like at some point, like I got friends that are like in their early 40s. I go, dude, you can't be doing this for the next 10 years. The drinking and all that stuff. You got to take it. You got to take it serious. In your 20s, you could do it. It's almost like being in college.
Right.
Seinfeld made a great point. He goes, a comic when he's like 45, he's really 25. You take 20. They're like 20 years behind growing up. So at 45, and I had my first kid at 46. So yeah, and I
there
grew
you
up.
Go.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like Jerry, does it? Zuckerman?
No, not at all. he's not a little kid.
He's not a little kid in any way, is he?
He'd get in that red wagon in a second if he could.
Yeah, that is. I meant to bring this up when you were talking about your prank phone calls, because what's this story with Eminem took a liking to your characters? when you were doing Crank Yankers.
We did one season of Crank Yankers on Comedy Central. And Nobody was watching the show.
Right.
Like, it just got buried.
It was only a one-season show?
No. We were after our first season. They said, all right, we're going to pick you guys up for like 8 more episodes. Because Jimmy and Adam had the Man Show at the time. So they were Comedy Gold. They would give them anything at Comedy Central. So they go, we'll do one more season. And they're like, we don't know what's going to happen with the show. And then we caught wind that Eminem was a fan of the show through the grapevine. We're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then the MTV Movie Awards came out, and he just won a award for 8 Mile. And he went up there and he did an impression of the one of the characters I did on Crank Yankers, like when he accepted the award. And nobody knew. Like, I remember the next day watching like Entertainment Tonight, like, what was Eminem doing up there? Was that like a joke to one of his friends back home in Detroit? Like, what? Everyone's like, I don't know what's going on. Is there something wrong with him? Is he on drugs? Meanwhile, it was okay. And then like 2 days later, like, hey, Eminem wants to be on the show Crank Yankers, and he wants the guy that does that special ed character and Bobby Fletcher, the two characters in Detroit in the studio in a couple days. Because him and his daughter used to watch the show. They bonded over it every week. And his daughter's like, Dad, why don't you go on that show? You make prank calls. And next thing I know, I'm in the studio with Eminem in Detroit.
Oh, my God. Making calls?
Yeah, making calls together. Yeah.
Where can we hear those calls?
They're out there.
How is Eminem at pranking?
He's amazing.
What makes him a good pranker? Is it because the same thing that makes him a good rapper?
Yeah, he's quick. And we were just making practice prank calls, and we were both riffing back and forth, like we were playing Brothers or whatever. And I was like, man, I'm riffing with Eminem here. And it's like, first of all, I was nervous walking in to meet him for the first time. I was a big Eminem fan, too. I go, if I piss this guy off, he's going to write a whole album about me. I'm going to be public enemy number 1. Nobody's going to know who I am.
That's Taylor Swift, by the way.
Right.
That's not Eminem.
Used to be Fred Durst. Now it's
whoever it was. Yeah, Christina Aguilera, whoever he wrote about, Moby. You know. So I was like, I don't want. And then when I walk in, he just goes, I can't believe I'm in the room with the guy that does special ed. And then he knew like all my calls. He's like, what about this one when you did this? When you did this? Yeah, all the stuff. So, and then we wound up doing a bit for the music awards, the MTV Music Awards. We did a thing there and all that stuff. So, no, he was, I hung one of him a few times. I went to one of his birthdays. They hired me to do stand-up at his birthday party to roast him. So I flew out to Detroit, and all of his buddies were there, and they were all up on stage, like, freestyle and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to do this, man. And I was hiding from his manager the whole time. He's like, when do you want to go on? I go, let's go later. Everyone's having a good time. Like, I'm going to bomb. This is going to be bad. And I hid from his manager the whole night and never went on.
Really?
I said, I'll do it for free. He goes, all right, I'll fly you out. So it wasn't like, I owed him money or anything like that. I go, yeah, just, everyone was having a good time. I don't know.
But why didn't you do it? Because it was one of those horrible comedy situations where you knew you couldn't be funny, right?
It would have been horrific. Yeah.
Right.
I would have bombed. There was like 500
people. Because no one's
people.
listening.
No one would have been listening.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been terrible. I knew it would have been. And then Eminem came up. He goes, what were you going to say about me? You going to roast me? I go, yeah. He goes, well, what were some of the jokes? I go, I'm not telling you. He's like, come on, man. What? Give me one. I go, no, I'm not. I go, I might need them if I ever do it again.
Well, how long have you been sitting on those jokes? When are you going to release those jokes?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mr. Florentine, when?
Because if I'm roasting them, it's not going over. It's going to be bad.
Do you even like the roast? Do you like that whole format?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
You don't think it's mean? Like, I'd never want anybody to roast me, nor am I interested in being mean to someone else that way.
That, you got to know going in that you can't get offended by anything anybody says about you.
Right.
If you think you might, then don't even do it.
Right.
I did a bunch on the Howard Stern show, and we just roasted, you probably know Rich Voss.
Yep.
It was his 60th birthday, so me, Jim Norton, Colin Quinn, Bonnie McFarlane was his wife. We all had this roast. They're going to release it somewhere. We did it in New York at the Village Underground. It was great. It was just a bunch of friends, and it was people loved it. They go because you guys all knew each other,
right?
So it wasn't mean spirited. We attacked each other to no end. But
that's right. They were
mean
spirited. How do you do that without being mean?
I don't know. I don't take anything personally when I'm on a roast. I don't, because I just know I don't care. They can hit me all they want, and I'm just like, I just can't wait to get up there. That's the way I look at it. I go, keep it, whatever. I don't care. It goes in one ear, one out the other. I just want to get my turn.
All the time.
Well, yeah, I know. There's a difference between teasing and some of these roasts.
Some of the things hurt, but I don't take them personally.
I don't know that they hurt. It's just it kind of feels old timey. The whole format feels like old timey and.
But it's starting to come back. They have like these roast battles.
Yeah, I know. I watch them.
Well, look, everything being so safe.
The only notable thing that kind of came out of them was Amy Schumer, where I went, "Who's that woman up there telling jokes?" So she's pretty funny, and then suddenly you have Amy Schumer. That's about it, as far as I'm concerned. The good they've done for the world. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, yeah. No, a lot of people have made. Whitney Cummings made her career. Lisa
Yeah, that's true.
Lampanelli,
That's true.
In
fact, I saw her trying out her material on stage one night when we were doing stand-up somewhere in Westwood.
Oh, yeah?
She came up and she said, I got to do these jokes. And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Are women particularly good at this area of comedy?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
She was super funny.
They're good roasters.
Lisa Lampanelli's phenomenal. She's
very good, too.
She's amazing, yeah. So, I don't know. I like that format because it's different because everything being so safe these days and you don't say this and audiences be offended. Like, that's the one place where if you're going to go to roast battle, there's going to be some mean stuff said, and just know going in that's what it's going to be.
Now, what's all of this metal show podcast thing that you have?
No, I was on a TV show called That Metal Show.
Right.
It was
okay, that's it. The VH1 show.
Yeah,
I
the
remember
VH1
that
show.
Yeah.
I was one of the hosts.
But are you also doing a podcast about?
My podcast is called Comedy Metal Midgets, but it's just me ranting. That's it. Yeah, I wanted to throw midgets in there. We'll see how long I can use that before I go.
Yeah, you might have to change that.
But comedy metal little people really doesn't flow.
Right. No, not at all. And who else is in the show? It's just you by yourself?
It's just me ranting.
Really?
That's how the book came about, yeah.
Wow. Isn't that hard to just go for an hour of just talking into the mic?
Well, no, because first of all, I don't want to book anybody. I'm too lazy. I don't want to go meet somebody and then they're late and all this stuff. So I do it right out of my house or I do it in a hotel room when I'm on the road doing stand-up.
Right. Do you hear that, Zuckerman? Then they're late.
Right. Like I was by 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and you were late 20 minutes last time.
All right. I'm just saying.
Because I'm doing a whole thing now. Like every week, I do something different, like Yelp reviews.
Right.
Awful Yelp reviews is a podcast where people go bitch, give a 1-star review at an Applebee's.
Right.
I'm like, what did you think was gonna? You really thought the food was gonna be good?
You know what's a good thing about that? You look to see if they gave other bad reviews that same day.
Right.
Like they had a really bad day and decided to just go on all 10 people they resented.
Right, because you can click on that, and see what else they wrote. Yeah, it's like, and my whole theory with that is just go somewhere else. Don't mess up people's businesses.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you didn't like the steak, there's another fucking steakhouse. Right. You know what I mean? And I always go, look, you're having another meal in a little while. Hang in there. If you didn't like lunch, hang in there. In 4 or 5 hours, you're gonna have dinner. You can even eat early if you want. It's gonna be okay.
Do you ever call people out by name? Can you do that?
No, I don't really do that. I don't like to do that. Even when I'm on Twitter, I never mention anybody.
No.
Like, I don't like the commissioner in the NFL, and I'll just go to commissioner, once again, whatever. But I never go mention.
Roger Goodell. Yeah. I don't like him for what he did to Tom Brady. I'm a Patriots fan.
Well, yeah.
Why don't you like him?
He's just because he's ruining the league. He's a shyster. Yeah, that whole Brady thing was a scam. You know what I mean?
Why was it a scam?
Because all the other NFL owners go, you better punish him because you favor the Patriots, and if Tom Brady's out for 4 games, maybe somebody else has another chance.
Right.
To win a Super Bowl.
You know what? Part of that investigation really pissed me off was we need to look at your text messages.
Yeah, and
the
he said
NFL
no.
as an organization is carrying on an investigation, and they're saying, "Let me subpoena your." What does that even mean?
Yeah, and he's like, no, you're not looking at my phone. He got another phone. He switched it over. And he's like, yeah, so if he's sending stuff to his wife or naked pictures or something, so
you know he is.
And that stuff's getting out. When you hand your phone over to the NFL, that stuff is going to wind up on TMZ a month later. Tom Brady saying Belichick, what a fucking idiot after a game or something, and that's going to be out there. Look what he said about the coach. He's like, no way am I giving you my phone.
Look what it takes the FBI or the police to get that phone and to look at that. It has to go into a courtroom. You can't just say, show me your phone, Tom Brady. You could say, you show us the pictures of Giselle.
Right.
But just you can't. The whole thing was farce.
It was the NFL threw it out because there was 12 out of 13 balls that were on a flight, and it wasn't true. There was only one.
Right.
There was only one.
Yes.
And you're playing in the cold weather. You lived in Long Island. You know when it's wintertime, your tires, you've got to put air in them. Because the cold weather makes the air come out. I have to do. I live in New Jersey. I just had a blizzard 2 weeks. I'm putting air in my tire once a week.
Exactly.
This one's low. The light goes back on.
This is a car show. We talk about inflation all the time.
Exactly.
And when it got cold here in L.A., when it went down to 60 degrees, I had to go to all my cars and put air in it instantly. Everything needed air. So yeah, I'm right there with. I would put Goodell in your tweets and just try to get rid of him. But here we are. It's already happened, though, at this point. The Patriots are you a Patriots fan? You're not a Patriots
I'm
fan,
a Miami fan, but I respect the Patriots, and I don't hate them because I know they're just a great coach team. They got
It's
a great
great
coach
team.
and,
Yeah, I don't know how you can
and a
hate
great
them.
quarterback. I don't hate them. I envy them, but I'm not mad at them.
Yeah.
I want them to keep winning. I know, like in that AFC East, you got no other team has any shot until Brady and Belichick retire.
Right.
So I just know going in. So when Miami every new season, I go, they might get a wild card. They're never going to win the division. The only time anyone's won that division was Miami like 12 years ago when Brady went down with the knee injury, and they still went 11-5.
What was going on with his hand? I didn't really follow up on that news. They said his hand was injured this week.
Yeah, somebody in practice, some guy came in and his helmet hit his hand, so he didn't practice yesterday. But he'll throw 7 touchdowns on Sunday. He'll throw. Everyone's like, the hand. He didn't practice. He wasn't there for the walkthroughs, and he'll throw 7 touchdowns.
That's so exciting. That's exciting. I'm into. I've never. I grew up a Patriots fan in New England, right? So I watched that team lose all the time.
Oh yeah, you Steve Grogan years.
Saw the Red Sox. I grew up a loser
in that misery.
except for the Celtics. And when they first won the Super Bowl, I was able to take my dad and my brother. And then 7 years later, I was able to take my son. I saw them win twice.
Nice.
And then the interest kind of faded. But my 9-year-old now, Jack, is a huge Patriots fan, and he can talk football like you can talk football. We can't really talk football. He can talk like you talk. And now I'm really getting into football. Is your son a football fan?
Yeah, he's
and
a Miami.
Like?
He's a Miami fan.
Why does he like Miami?
Because I like him.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I told him.
I think that's why
I said
Jack
the
likes
only
him.
thing I told my son with sports teams, I go, the only team you cannot like, and I won't support you. You can pick any team you want, and I'll root with you. I'll sit. Is the Jets.
Oh, wow.
Because it's going to be a life of misery. And I don't want you coming back at me, Dad, why'd you let me pick the Jets 30 years later?
Right.
When they still haven't won a Super Bowl. So I said, you can't be a Jet fan. And I hate the Jets. I go, you can't be a Jet fan.
We were Jets fans early on. My kids liked them because they had a jet in the logo, in the old logo.
Well, that's why I like the Dolphins. It was like colors. It was
right.
Aqua and all this stuff. So
Now this house has a lot of signs in it that say no Giants welcome. No, there's a little circle on my son Jack's door that says no Michael Strahan because of his association with the Giants.
That's very funny.
He doesn't want him coming into his bedroom. We're Michael Strahan, kind of a car guy who we know, just hates the Giants, hates him. But
because the Patriots have 7 Super Bowls, they should have 7
right
now. If it wasn't for those 2 passes by the Giants, so
I
could see why they hate them. But no, I'm rooting for them all the way.
Yeah, me too. What's it like living in New Jersey this time of year? You never thought about coming out here and having an easier life? A little warmth?
Yeah, I know.
Do you feel like you wouldn't be as funny out here?
It was like 15 years ago. I felt like the crowds were a little sensitive out here, but that's changed over I'd say probably the last 7 or 8 years.
What were they sensitive to?
I think they, a guy from the East Coast, growing up in Long Island, like, whoa, this guy's a little rough,
right?
A little rough around the edges. What's going on? Why, what's this all about? He's aggressive.
Yeah,
what I mean, and they know how to take it. They were a little taken aback, like, ooh,
right.
But now, now it doesn't matter. You can pretty much now. I love the crowds out here. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But all the East Coast guys always felt like that when we came out here. Like, oh, that's a little,
So what do you pop into the city to perform?
Yeah, do the comedies. I don't know. I grew up in New Jersey, and I used to come out here for pilot season and stuff. When I have to come out, I just come out. I come out once a month for like a week, do some business, go back home. And now you got a kid. He's about school systems and all that crap.
Yeah, you're
so
done.
Yeah, and I got a divorce, so I can't really leave anyway. At a divorce, you can't just take your kid and take off.
Right.
That kind of crap. So,
How long
Unless she
ago?
gives you permission, and that's really likely to happen.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
How
either.
long ago did you get divorced?
It's been like 3 years now.
3 years. So you dating?
Yeah.
What is that like? We're all class of '82. We were talking at the break.
Yeah.
We're all the same age. What is the dating like? Are you into it? Because I'll be honest. If it were me, I might just not do anything. I might not even date. I might just hang out, drive cars, buy cars, and just do shit like that and do this.
Your date will be with pizza once a week.
My date's with pizza, with ice cream, and maybe the Asian women's feet category on Pornhub, maybe once or twice a week. That would be my life.
Well, yeah, as you get older, you get set in your ways. You're like, I just don't want to deal with the aggravation, and testosterone goes down, so you don't really think about it as much. But then again, when you're out there and it's easier these days. Remember, you had to take a girl to dinner, go to her house, maybe her parents were there and pick her up, and then drop her. None of that.
Right.
You meet them on like a dating app. Hey, let's go. You want to meet for a drink? You chat a little bit. Sure. You meet them at the bar. There's no dinners. There's none of that. And usually, you could take them home like the first night. Remember, you have to go like 4 or 5 dates? Maybe the third date you can get somewhere. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If she was easy.
Like that whole Aziz Ansari, that whole story is like, I can't believe he took her to dinner on the first date.
Right.
Like he goes, hey, let's hang on my apartment. Let's
Spoiled
go to
her.
dinner. I know. I'm like, wow, he took her to dinner? You never do that. I remember going on dates like, okay, we'll go to dinner and then we'll go to a movie afterwards.
Right.
And then maybe you'll make out in the car on the way home. You drop her off.
Oh,
But
God.
doesn't that Aziz story terrify you?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Because it seems like a nerdy guy trying to get laid and failing miserably.
yes.
Right?
Clumsy.
Clumsy.
Right, and he's got some questionable moves, yes, but everybody does. Right? But doesn't it just seem like a date gone wrong and that any one of us could just walk into that date and suddenly be held up to the world as that guy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is, she really thought that, that was going to be a boyfriend or whatever. He had a great funny line in there, like, because they already had some sex, and, he's trying to have intercourse with her, and she's like, I don't know. He's like, come on, let's just do it. And she goes, you know what? I'd rather wait for the second date for that. So Aziz goes, okay. And they're in his apartment. He goes, okay. He goes, well, if I pour you a fresh glass of wine, is that considered a second date? That's a funny line. That's a guy going, ha, ha, ha. It's a second date. I would have said the same thing. I'm like, that's a guy. I love that line.
Yeah, there's no laugh track in Facebook statements. It's all very non-emotional.
Poor guy.
Well, that's what I mean. When you go out on a date, are you on the lookout for anything like that? I don't know how you.
Well, the thing with
here's something. Like we were talking about this the other day, and I was talking about it with my wife too, and she said there's some initiative in California, but there's like every step of the way you need verbal permission. First base kiss. I'm going to touch you on the breast. She has to say yes. Is that true?
With a 23-year-old, that was part of the
No,
problem.
but you hear what I'm saying?
I know.
Is that what you have to do?
Repeated consent.
Repeated consent. Yes.
Consent.
Is that a real thing?
No.
It's not really a real thing, but we talked about my crazy idea for an app that said make yes mean yes, where you both have to log into your phones and record a consent video.
But I'm being serious. But someone we knew said in college this is what they're taught. That every step of the way, there's consent. There's multiple consents leading to sex.
If you're in college, they're going to have a code of conduct. So it's a little bit different than being out in the world as a 53-year-old man.
I know, but I read that Aziz story, and I said, I'm not going. Not that I was ever considering divorce with my wife. I love her, but I don't know that I would date nowadays. It scared the shit out of me, what happened there. And I just wonder how you're doing it.
That's an old man view of things. You're scared. Scared of the world.
Scared.
No, but
I pulled up my blanket over. I'm scared. Zuckerman, I'm scared. But
all of a sudden, he was way nicer to his wife. She's like, what got into you? He's like, I just
scared of the option.
I just read the Aziz story.
May I touch your boobs?
Yeah. Well,
no,
like
she said.
Look, it could always happen. Even back in the day, we were younger, and in our 20s, some girl the next day could have said, "Hey, I didn't really want to do that," and went to the cops. It still was. It was always there. Some crazy girl that was drunk that you picked up or whatever, and goes, "I didn't really want to." Maybe she had a boyfriend or something. So, look, you just got to be careful and just, you can't go. When you're making out with somebody, you don't know. So you start making out. Do you make a next move? You're not going to stop and go, "Hey, is it okay if I do this?" You just kind of feel around. If she says no or she pushes your hand away, then you're okay.
Do you like it? Do you like dating?
It's all right. I mean, to hook up with somebody new is kind of nice.
Uh-huh.
And then, but I'm a comic, so I don't really have a lot of time. So if I meet somebody, if I'm in a city like Omaha or something like that, and a girl wants to come out to the show and wants to hang or whatever, I'm like, all right, cool, this is good, and then, I don't live there, so it's perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
he's got an escape plan all built in, his own zip line.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm out
going
of
to
here.
Springfield tomorrow.
Yeah, in 2 days, I go, I got to go back home. Like, all right. I go, I'll be back here next year. And then, so you just got to play it like that. At home, I got a kid, so you don't want to bring you don't want to bring different girls around your kid because it messes them up. He sees all these women come. So I don't do that.
Does it really mess them up?
I think so. I don't know.
I might look at my dad and go, what a champ. What a guy. Look at this guy.
But then maybe at 14. But
look what he's pulling down. At 7?
Not at 7. At 7, you're too young.
That's true.
You're too young to appreciate your dad's a stud.
My 7-year-old came up to me the other day and said, who's your girlfriend? And I said, Mommy, Erica. He goes, no, that's your wife. Who's your girlfriend? You don't have a girlfriend? And I was like a little put off. I was a little insecure about that. Like, I don't.
The world according to James is
the
very,
world according to James.
Yeah,
that could be a good world, James.
Well, my son says, like, Dad, because we'll watch movies together and stuff, whatever. We'll watch, Jim Carrey movies or Adam Sandler movies. He loves it.
Yeah, that's great.
And he'll watch Ted. He loves Ted, so... So he goes, Dad, you got to get a girlfriend. Come on, get a girlfriend. I go, okay, I'm just letting you know. If we have a girlfriend and she's here, we're going to have to compromise. We probably can't watch an Adam Sandler movie, so we're going to be watching something else. She's like, well, what are we going to be watching? I go, probably something that she wants to watch. And we're like, okay, fine, because you have to compromise. I go, then don't get one. I go, yeah, so we're probably not going to be watching Ted 3 nights a week. He's like, well, then forget it then. I go, okay, there you go.
Does he really like Ted?
Yeah, it's a talking, but he curses and,
Oh, boy, that's a good one for my boys. Maybe that's what I'm going to watch a movie night tonight. Tonight's movie night in my
First
house.
Ted, the second Ted stinks.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no sexual stuff in there my wife is going to get mad at me for?
Oh, yeah, there definitely is. Absolutely. She's going to be furious.
Perfect.
She's going to be furious.
Yeah. Horny bear.
Yeah. She'll be in the other room working on her political stuff. We'll be out in the other room laughing. Well, Jim, thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah.
It's really nice to finally meet you. I've heard your name forever. The book is called Everybody is Awful Except You. Zuckerman, you're awful.
All the time.
We can follow you in all of your amazing car purchases. We've got a 911R to catch up on with you. You'll see Zuckerman on Instagram, @TheRealZuckerman. I'm @SpikeFerriston everywhere, but mostly active on Instagram. Anything you want to plug before we go?
No, just a book. It's out February 20th. You can pre-order it now.
There you go. Shall we close out, Will, with another crank phone call from Jim Florentine? Here you go, folks. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.
This is Jimmy.
Is this the record store?
This is the record store, yes.
Yeah, I want to hear that song.
What song?
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, yeah.
What song is that?
Hey, it's that song. You got it? I like that song. Yay!
I'm not sure I know what song you're talking about.
It goes boom, 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 boom,
Boo, boo, boo. Oh, yeah.
I want to buy the record.
You know the name of the artist?
Yay!
Yay.
Boom, 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 Yay!
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I'm sorry.
It's a song.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, I'm just not sure what that is.
It's a song. It goes boom, 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 Yay!
You hear it on the radio?
I can dance. Boom, 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 boom,
Do you know what kind of song is that? A rock song or a rap song or a country song?
Yeah, it goes boom, 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 Yay!
Boo, 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 but I'm not sure what kind of song it is.
Sing it with me, and then you'll know. Boom, 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 yay!
Boo, 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 yeah, okay.
No, boom, 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 yay!
Boo, 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 yeah.
No.
No.
Boom, 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 yay!
I'm just not sure what it is.
Hey, lady, sing it with me. Boom, 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 yay!
Boo, 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 yeah.
No. Boom, 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 yay! Get it right, lady. Go.
Boo, 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 yeah.
No. Boom, 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 yay! You go, lady.
Boo, 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 yeah.
No. Boom, 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 yay!
I'm just not sure what that is.
You go. You do it after me. Boo, 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 yay!
Boo, 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 yeah.
No. Lady, listen to me.
Lady.
Boo, 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 yay!
Boo, 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 boo. Wait, say it one more time.
Boo, 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 yay!
Boo, 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 yeah.
No. Lady, listen.
Lady.
Boo, 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 yay!
I'm just not sure what that is. I'm awfully sorry.
Lady, if you repeat it after me, then you'll know what song it is, okay?
Okay.
Do it now. You go.
Boo, 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 yeah.
Yay, that's it, yay!
Okay.
That's great. Now give me the record.
I don't know what it is.
Give me the record, Jimmy. Yay!
Well, I just don't know what it is. I'm awfully sorry, but...
Okay. Well, you have a good day.
Okay. Well, you have a good evening, too.
You do it one more time, lady. Do it one more time.
Boo, 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 yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
Yay!
Well, you have a good night.
Yay! Okay. That's great. Yay!
Real quick before we go, if you're looking to buy a car, you're probably familiar with terms like MSRP. You might even know what it stands for. But what does it actually mean? The same goes for invoice, list price, and dealer price. It's enough to confuse anybody. It confuses me. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Introducing True Price from TrueCar. Now you can know exactly what you'll pay for the car you want, including fees and accessories, before you even get to the dealership. TrueCar dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of your home. And how do you know if True Price is a great price? Because TrueCar shows you what other people paid for the same car you want. And your certified dealers know this, so they set their true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.